In the news, President Obama has rolled out his new budget, and its record spending is likely to become a political issue. John Jessup has the story now from Washington.
A whopping $3.8 trillion is how much the White House proposes it'll cost the government to do business in 2011. And that includes a massive $1.6 trillion deficit, a record. The budget sets aside $160 billion for military operations in Afghanistan and Iraq, $100 billion to try to bring down double-digit unemployment, and would provide billions more to lift the country out of the worst recession since the 1930s. In an effort to ease growing concerns of government spending, President Obama has included a 3-year spending freeze on non-security related domestic programs.
Within that cap, we're going to have to prioritize just like every business or every family would. So we're going to have to do away with the things that we don't need and in order to pay for the things that we do.
The budget represents a major dilemma for the Obama administration, trying to balance between pulling the country out of recession and dealing with a rapidly increasing national debt. Critics have blasted the administration and congressional Democrats for spending far more than they need to, something that's become a hot political issue.
There's so much spending going out the door. It's adding to the deficit. It's adding to the debt. We're seeing the rhetoric of fiscal discipline, but we're not seeing the follow-through on the policy.
This is only the beginning for the new budget. Now that it's in the hands of Congress, it'll be the source of debate for months on end, teeing off Republicans to attack Democrats for overspending as they aim to gain more seats on Capitol Hill this election year. John Jessup, CBN News, Washington.
Republican Senator-elect Scott Brown told ABC's Barbara Walters that he disagrees with his party on abortion, but with some exceptions.
Roe v. Wade is the law of the land, but I think we need to do more to reduce the amount of abortions. And the difference between me and maybe others is that I'm I'm against partial birth abortions, I'm against federal funding of abortions, and I believe in a strong parental consent notification law. And we should do more for adoptions.
Brown also believes that states should have the right to decide whether homosexuals should marry. He's scheduled to be sworn in February 11th. Haiti's doctors and hospitals are still dealing with devastating health problems after the recent earthquake. Many of the victims have lost some of their limbs. George Thomas has that story.
Inside Haiti's largest hospital, the grim picture of an unfolding health crisis. The majority of patients here are facing a future without hands or legs.
Many amputations have had to be done already, and more will follow.
Dr. Thomas Wishy is an orthopedic surgeon from New York's Mount Sinai Medical Center. The day we met him, he had already performed a dozen amputations.
90% of the patients roughly have fractures of one sort or another.
When the earthquake struck, 24-year-old Madrias was at home cooking in the kitchen.
I tried to run out, but a wall collapsed on me and I was pinned down for a day.
The Red Cross rescued her and brought her here to the National Hospital in Port-au-Prince.
My leg was crushed. I could see my bones sticking out. I knew my condition was not good.
24 hours after losing her leg, she and many others like her living in the courtyard of the hospital are too scared to even think about the future.
I just can't even imagine what I'm going to do. I'm still so young for this to have happened to me.
The earthquake is creating a generation of amputees. Some estimate that as many as 200,000 Haitians will end up losing one or more limbs.
Such injuries typically take a month or more to heal, but the conditions at the hospital, and for that matter across this devastated city, are anything but first rate.
The open tents and, of course, the heat and the lack of complete sanitary facilities are not conducive to the best optimal conditions.
Then there's the challenge of getting prosthetics. Before the earthquake, Healing Hands for Haiti was the largest manufacturer of prosthetic hands and feet. Now the group has to start from scratch after the quake severely damaged its shops.
Not only you're talking about new amputees, new victims, but normally before the earthquake, it was estimated that 800,000 people in Haiti needed rehabilitation, needed prosthetics.
Help is coming. Various humanitarian groups are rushing to manufacture new prostheses. Meanwhile, other aid groups are collecting used prosthetics, crutches, canes, walkers, and wheelchairs for earthquake victims. Like so many patients here, Madrias will need weeks of healing and long-term rehabilitation. Yet she knows just how fortunate she is to be lying in this bed despite her circumstances.
Even though I can't imagine how I'm going to cope, at least I know I'm alive. So many others have died. I'm thankful for my life.
George Thomas, CBN News, Port-au-Prince, Haiti.
Haiti could face a serious disease outbreak due to the lack of enough shelter and bathroom facilities. Many crowded areas have puddles of filthy water, which have become breeding grounds for mosquitoes, and that has begun the spread of deadly disease. Some hospitals are reporting that half the children they treat already have malaria. Operation Blessing is helping to meet the most important need on the ground, clean drinking water. It has installed water purification plants at 2 clinics that see more than 1,000 patients a day. Operation Blessing also put up 4 other water units around the capital that serve the General Hospital, the National Stadium, and 2 refugee camps. They've helped thousands of people who would otherwise be drinking dirty, disease-ridden water. 16 more units are ready to go, but there are hundreds of thousands of people still in desperate need. You can donate to Operation Blessing by calling 1-800-759-0700 or sending your contribution to the address on the screen.